Hey guys, and welcome to Car Collections, and welcome back to my channel, and today I am back with another episode of my Talking Real Cars, kind of like a podcast-ish, you may consider it, form of video, and today I'm going to be doing and looking at the car and driver news, feed online. I'm going to start by saying, if you would like an in-depth look at any of this sorts of stuff, go to the Car and Driver website. Huge shout out for them for having this on their website available for people to look at. And they also have their own magazine that I also sometimes get in the mail. So, pretty cool. But today we're going to be going over some of the kind of the auto trends and news things that you should know. So, as you can see, this is kind of what some of it looks like, but we're going to scroll down, and we're just going to see kind of what they have down here. We're going to start off with the 2027 Chevrolet Silverado truck is worth waiting for. And, if you don't know, the Chevrolet Silverado is getting a full redesign for the 2027 model year, and this looks to be a look at what this truck is going to look like. Now, the full-size truck segment, it's been a minute since we've gotten those cars fully redesigned, so it's going to be nice to see, a full redesign to, a 2027 Chevy Silverado, and, this is supposedly what it's going to look like. And honestly, in my opinion, it looks really cool. I like it. Not a ton of notable changes, but I think there's going to be quite a few changes that are really good and that will benefit this truck and really make it a strong competitor against Ram and some other rivals. And the full-size truck segment hasn't been redesigned in a minute, you know. The Ram, the F-150 have been refreshed over the years, but it's been, like, I think 2020, all of the mainstream big trucks have had redesigns, and since they've all just kind of been refreshed, and that's about it. 2026 Toyota RAV4 plug-in hybrid pricing revealed. Curious to see what they're going to say here about the price. Let's see, $42,950. The new RAV4 is expensive. The GR Sport I was seeing, the GR Sport is $51,000. And, let's just say that is a lot of money. I mean, I'm sure realistically, the packaging probably makes sense. I'm sure it makes sense, but I remember back in 2019 when a base RX was $45,000, and that was a luxury car, and now we have RAV4 stickering for $50,000. Now, obviously, this is the top of the line, this isn't like the base model, and if you don't want to pay $51,000 for a RAV4, which I don't think many people do, there's a lot of cheaper options out there, and I think the RAV4 is one of these cars that there's a version for everyone. You have all-terrain versions, sport versions, cheap, economical versions. You have the hybrid. The RAV4 is really, in my opinion, a suitable car for everybody, and we're going to have to see how this will change now that it's gone to full hybrid only. The redesign is hybrid only, just is starting to go, into production and get to the dealers, and probably by the end of this year we'll see a few on the road, maybe. Moving on to the next news, let's see here. Scrolling down to see some news. Recall for Crosstracks Forester hybrids pose fire risk. This is interesting. Subaru, a brand that is known for reliability, is now recalling their Crosstrek and Forester hybrids for fire risk. And that's only the hybrids, which obviously probably have a little bit more of a fire risk to that kind of electrical component. Now, this is interesting because, me personally, I don't think to see many Subaru hybrids, so I don't think this is going to affect many people because, I don't know, just... if they want a hybrid, I think it's kind of just known. Like, if they want a hybrid, they get a Toyota. Toyota just seems to do the hybrid thing the best. But, I don't know. And that's too bad because, Subaru has a pretty good reputation of being reliable. So, we're going to have to see really, how that plays out if, owners go away from Subaru, and it shouldn't be too big of a deal. I mean, like I said, I don't see many Subaru hybrids, but there might be a few Forester hybrids out there, and that would stink. I can only imagine, buying a brand new Subaru, hoping it would be reliable, getting a 2026, and then just having their car recalled, or even a 2025 model. That'd be pretty upsetting. Let's see what we have here. Let's see. Ford recalls 4.3 million cars with trailer issue. This is also very concerning, particularly for Ford, and especially within their trucks, because a lot of people, they buy Ford trucks, Ford F-150s, Ford Rangers, especially the F-250s and the F-350s and these heavy-duty trucks to do towing. That's what you buy these trucks for. They're meant to be worked with. They're meant to be towed with. And now that there's a tow recall, that's a little bit concerning, especially considering a lot of people, like I said, tow, like, not even, and a lot of people tow, like, valuable stuff, I've seen F-350s hauling horse trailers with horses in it, cars, all sorts of things that these trucks haul, and now having the trailer issue, I mean, it's pretty upsetting. If you pay $83,000, which, I mean, F-350s are pretty expensive, every truck's expensive in today's world, $53,000, only in my dreams, $83,000 for a big Ford, F-350 pickup truck, and they're expecting to tow with it, and now all of a sudden, and that's just not possible because of this recall. I'd be pretty upset, and maybe consider getting something else. Let's see here. 2027 Kia Telluride Hybrid comes with a price hike. I was curious about this because, they didn't really say much about the 2027 Kia Telluride and pricing. I saw some videos of it, but they didn't talk much about pricing. And obviously, I mean, you can expect it's a brand new midsize SUV, 3-row seating, all the technology. It's going to come at a price. And I think, quite frankly, things are just getting more and more expensive, and people just have to, unfortunately, adapt to that. And that's why buying new cars in today's world are so challenging to buy a new car now, because everything is expensive, and it's hard to get a cheap, good car. I mean, there's a lot of options out there, but if you need something with good packaging, it's kind of tough, and that's why used cars, in my opinion, are a great option, because they can get great transportation at a great price. In some cases, it's better than buying new. So I'm curious to see if buyers will be as into this Telluride as they were the last. This was the thing that I really, really wanted to touch on, which was the 2026 Ford Mustang Mach-E's frunk now costs extra. So, if you guys don't know what a frunk is, basically on all electric cars, or most of them, obviously you don't have a gas engine. So, in replacement for that gas engine, the automakers give you a front trunk, where you can store things, otherwise known as a frunk. Most electric cars have it. Some electric cars, there's electrical components. In other electric cars, there's nothing there. But the Mach-E is now making it cost extra. And the reason why this really is, in my opinion, surprising is because, in my opinion, this would cost Ford extra. I don't know how this is benefiting Ford financially, because they have to think, now they have to build two versions with frunks and versions without frunks. And they have to think, so now how is this possibly, benefiting Ford when you have rivals like the Tesla Model Y, the Honda Prologue, and other vehicles that offer front trunks. I don't think the Prologue has a front trunk, but you get my point. You have all these rivals that offer this stuff standard, and now they're expecting buyers to pay extra. And to be completely honest, in my opinion, the Mach-E is not that of a huge, hugely great car. It's okay, and that's about all it is. I mean, it's not the Tesla Model Y. I mean, this car is pretty expensive, and I have to imagine that all the ones on dealers are going to come with frunks, and they're probably hoping to get people to pay extra on frunks and then make some money. I don't know. Ford and Lincoln are going through some tough times. However, Lincoln, as you can see, is working on a Bronco-based G-Wagon rival, which I am pumped about. I think this will be the coolest thing ever, and someday when I grow up, if I have enough money and this is in existence, I'd probably buy one because it seems really awesome. If you guys don't know, the Ford Bronco is Ford's off-road SUV, and this would be based off of it, but with more luxury features, more of a Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon competitor. And I think if they could do it at a decent price too, why not? Moving on, this one's also this one also, in my opinion, is interesting to me. GM recalls 44,000 big SUVs for faulty transmissions. And if you guys don't know what their big SUVs are considered, basically the Traverse, the Tahoe, and the Suburban. And I think this is mainly Tahoe and Suburban though. And there's been, I don't know if you guys have seen a ton of issues with General Motors pickup trucks recently, like the Sierras and the Silverados, just having these transmission problems, and I'm not sure exactly what went wrong, but it was causing quite a few issues for quite a while, and now you can see it happening in Tahoes. And what's interesting about this is that Tahoes and Suburbans, I mean, they play a pretty good role. Government people drive these vehicles, police officers use these as a part of their fleet, so you have to imagine this recall is probably going to they have to wonder, are they going to lose buyers from this? If I worked at a police station, I wouldn't want a police cruiser that was at risk of needing a recall and having to be out of the fleet for a week. And obviously some recall stuff isn't as major as others, but we're talking transmission. Definitely something that is not exactly the best thing you want to hear or deal with. So curious to see how they're going to deal with that. Let's see here. What do we want to see? Let's see. New Tesla Cybertruck all-wheel drive base trim costs $20,000 less. Huh. Interesting. So there's supposedly going to be a Cybertruck all-wheel drive that's going to be cheap, apparently. I mean, obviously, $20,000 less. I'd still expect it to be at least $60,000, maybe even $70,000, because I think the average Cybertruck is now maybe around $80,000. I don't know. I don't think they're selling for six figures anymore. No, honestly, I don't think they're worth that. They're just going to experience depreciation anyway. But yeah, I think, I have to imagine it's still going to be expensive, probably around $75,000. So I'd have to imagine still going to be expensive. Wonder if people are still going to buy it. I mean, there's really no change besides the all-wheel drive factor. But that's also, you'd expect pretty crucial for a pickup truck. Let's see here. Mercedes recalls some EQBs that may catch on fire. Luckily for Mercedes, I don't think anybody bought EQBs because Mercedes and electric vehicles don't mix well, apparently, because none of them are really great. And it's a shame because they have these automakers that are really good at making gas cars, and then they step their foot in the EV game, and it's like, I actually think the EQB is a pretty good car. I'm mainly talking about the Toyota and the BZ4X and the Subaru Solterra. The Mercedes-Benz EQB is not the worst car. In my opinion, it's actually pretty good. I like their concept of just taking a regular gas car and putting an EV engine in it and not making it look like this weird alien creation from outer space, which so many automakers feel the need to do, which I don't understand because there's no need for that. No one, I don't know what, that was a very weird what. I don't know what goes through your head when you think that EVs have to be like aliens and have to be these. I think people try too hard to make these EVs future-based, but sometimes they're just as simple as just like being an EV. You don't need a ton of stuff. And, let's see here. Report is Scout's production timeline delayed. I was hearing this in another podcast the other day, and, I supposedly heard, as you guys know, Donald Trump got rid of the incentive for EVs, and obviously, in 2028, which I think, not 2028, whenever, I forget when it is, I think it might be 2028, it might be later, I remember Scout saying, and hearing this on this podcast, that they're going to delay the product timeline until the next presidency. So I have to wonder, are they waiting to see if an incentive comes back for EVs? So that'll be interesting. Let's see. Ford's new EV truck comes from clean sheet design. If you guys don't know, Ford is known for the F-150 Lightning, and they just got rid of that truck, and they're supposedly replacing it with something else. not much to talk about there. Audi's Concept C is a go despite Porsche's wavering. So, basically, I don't know if you guys know, this is going to be the last story for this video, but Audi is planning to come out with a new version of the original TT, which, in my opinion, looks absolutely cool. I think this is one of the best remodels of a car in history. It looks awesome, and you can even see it looks a lot like an R8 from the back here, which me personally I like a lot. Now it is going to be an EV, which obviously it is very disappointing, but I think I can get over that because this thing just looks, in my opinion, very cool and very awesome. I'm curious to see how it does in the market. I mean, this thing just looks like so futuristic. I really like this quite a bit. I mean, it looks so much like an R8 from the back. It really does. It looks like a next generation R8. And it also looks like it's going to be convertible. Yeah, so really awesome, really cool new car there from Audi. And hopefully we're going to see this, and hopefully it does well. Now, this was supposed to come out as alongside the Porsche Cayman EV. They're supposed to share a platform because Porsche, Audi, Volkswagen, they're kind of all part of the same group, including Bugatti, but, you know, Bugattis are like $1 million. Porsche decided that they're not going to sell their EV, which makes sense because I don't think that would do well. Because Porsche buyers I don't think are just maybe the type of people that would want to get into an EV. Not to mention the Cayman or like the Boxster, which are really known for being fun, tossable, you know, enjoyable cars. This looks cool though. I mean, like I said, it's an EV, but I think I can get over that and just, I mean, yeah, I'm curious to see pricing on this. I mean, I expect it maybe 70 grand, 60 grand. I don't know. I mean, it looks really cool. That's all I know. I mean, even from the top, it just looks really cool. So, that is going to be it for today's episode of Talking Real Cars. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, I'm glad. And I'm going to be back tomorrow with another video on some of my diecast cars. So, I'll see you guys then. Thanks for watching.